all the players have done so far is lift weights and go to the training room. So we'll get with the players tonight, have some meetings. Um, I expect and I'm going to demand out of them a lot of energy and effort this week. It's a big night for our program and for a lot of the seniors.
Scott, you mentioned, going back to that, you mentioned after the game on Saturday that this game was really important to you. You want this game meant a lot. Can you kind of elaborate why this game is as important for you this week?
Well, there's a lot of seniors that I've only spent about 10 months with, but are great kids and are doing things the right way. This is going to be their last chance to play. It's our whole team's, as this team's last chance to play a home game together. I think we need to get the momentum turned back the right way. It's a chance to go out and perform better than we did last week, so it's a big game for us.
Coach, kind of on that note, this is going to be the final home game of the season, obviously another one after that, but what has the season meant to you knowing that you've going to be, after this week, completed a full season at the bounce house?
No, it's great to be back. I really do love my job. I love being in Orlando. This is a challenge, and sometimes you got to embrace the hard as you're going through it to get where you want to get. I know our players aren't satisfied with the results so far, but they've been putting in work. We got to keep improving here at the end of the season. We need to play better this week than we played last week. All in all, it's been a great experience, just not quite the results we want right now. But we have a chance to change that this week.
In this transfer portal era, how do you think senior day has changed when you have some of the guys that maybe are just here for a year?
Yeah, it's changed a little, definitely. And there's also probably some guys that aren't sure if they're playing their last college game or not, depending on rules and, people trying to get another year of eligibility. And right now, I don't blame these guys. A lot of them want extra years of eligibility because they're getting compensated pretty well for what they do. On top of just the fact that they love the game and want to keep playing. So it's a little more ambiguous, but there's still some guys that have been around here a long time, have a lot of love for UCF and Orlando, and it's going to mean a lot to them.
Coach, I know that the past several weeks have had results that you might have wished differently, but do you feel like that the stuff you did during the off season, like the program and stuff like that, implement the culture has really borne fruit as you see how the team is running now?
We've made progress because of a lot of the things that we've done from a culture standpoint, but there's also no magic button to push to make it all work. That's a process, and I think the guys that we have come a long way from that standpoint. I feel like I inherited a group, nobody's fault, but inherited a group where there wasn't a lot of feeling of team. I think we've come a long way with that, but we still have a ways to go.
Malachi and Paul are a couple of guys that have played their entire careers at UCF. What do you feel like their legacy should be, and how much should fans appreciate that in this era where you have so much movement on a year-to-year basis?
Well, they're old guys. Malachi's in the back pulling gray hairs out of his head, I think. It's not very often anymore that someone stays someplace for as long as they have. I think Paul's been here about 9 years. I know those guys care a lot about UCF. That's why they stayed this year. They're great leaders for us. They're great kids for us. So I'm happy that they've got to enjoy their college experience at UCF, and hopefully we can send them out the right way.
Coach, when you talk about progress, what do you think worked well for you this season that you're going to try and carry into in the next couple of weeks?
That's a big question. There's certainly things that I think have gone really well, and other things that haven't been up to the standard that I need to demand from the program. And those are kind of off-season questions. Right now, our focus has to be on preparation today for this weekend and getting ready as much as we can. Obviously, we think about those things as we're going through this process, but those are all kind of cans of worms that will open after the season's over.
Talked a little bit about kind of how senior days change with how transient things are, but how have kind of the seniors and more veteran players helped, even if they're new, establish the kind of program really want to build and build the foundation for the future of this program?
Like I said, I think it's a pretty good start. Guys like Miles, who's in the back of the room, I wish I had 40 of them. First and foremost, he loves football, and guys like that are fun to be around on a daily basis because they love being out there, they love the work, they love the approach to it. Second, human being. He's become a good leader for us. I think both these guys have a lot of football left in their life, but you have to lean on those guys. The guys next year and going forward will have an advantage. The ones that we retain of already have an idea what we expect and what the standards are. It was all a learning process for everybody this year, and a lot of guys step into those roles for the first time. And I think some of these guys did a great job of that.
Coach, you've always been fight to the end. You've still got 2 games left. You can still get that extra game.
Hell yeah, we can. But it's this week. It's just this week. When we put our head down and really prepped well and come out and played fast and hard, we've played well, and that's what I expect this week.
Well, Scott was going to ask, what does senior day mean to you? I mean, you went through one obviously as a player. What does it mean to you when having that opportunity for seniors to be recognized?
The neatest thing for me on senior day is just to give guys a hug and thank them for what they've done. The relationship part of this job is still the best part of coaching. Being around guys and feeling like you can make a little difference in their lives and pour into them just a little bit. That makes all the time we spend doing this worth it. Through the ups and downs, we get to go be with each other and build that sense of team, and that's pretty special.
Players themselves get emotional, but you as a coach, you've had a short time with some of these players, but does it still get emotional to you still?
Yeah, but when you've been in the game long enough, you're pretty good at just kind of putting things, categorizing them and kind of hiding them away. And I'll be mission focused. Certainly excited for them, but you have to kind of prioritize the game and not let yourself get too caught up in it.
Coach, what do you remember most about your senior day as a player?
Oh man, this is so long ago. I don't remember much. I think we won the game pretty easy. That's all I really remember.
Adai had some touches on Saturday. What did you like about what you saw from him?
Yeah, obviously there's several positions like that. Like I said after the game, that we were expecting AG probably to be our number 5 going into the season, and he's found himself the number 2. I thought he had one really good run. Thought he did well with the opportunities that he had. He's still learning too and young, but certainly glad we have him, and he's going to be a key part of this going forward.
Coach, it's been a difficult season for Oklahoma State with the early coaching change. They hung around this past weekend against Kansas State. Just kind of what's your evaluation been as you've gotten an early look at the Cowboys?
One thing I give them a lot of credit for is you don't see a team that's given up. They played a good Kansas State team last week and fought them right to the end, a 14-6 game. So even with a coaching change, the guys that have taken over that program are obviously doing a good job with the morale. You see a bunch of guys playing hard, and it showed up last week with a tight game with a good team.
3 years in the game, did you have any interactions with Mike Gundy along the way?
Yeah, I know Mike a little bit, not really well. I certainly respect what he accomplished there. That's an awfully good run to be in one place as long as he was, and it's not very often in this business that you get to go out on your own terms and things end well, and you're lucky if you're one of those guys. But over time, I hope everybody looks back on his career and the success he has, and see what a good run he had at Oklahoma State, and I think that's how history will remember it.
Coach, at this point of the season, the team has suffered a lot of injuries, but that has opened up some opportunities for some of the younger talent on this roster. Would you say it's almost an opportunity for them to prove what they can maybe do next season as you look at the game, or you're not focused on that?
No, you're not focused on that, but it's always there. I want our guys to understand that every single thing they do is being evaluated, and every single play is being evaluated, and it's a tryout and an interview for the next game and the next week and the next year. And certainly some guys are getting some run that we didn't expect to get some run, but that gives them an opportunity to get some experience and us an opportunity to do a good evaluation too.
You mentioned after the game Saturday that you were looking to get Dobby some playing time, that he's earned some playing time. What is the situation at quarterback still, and how important is it to get him some reps, as he's playing not only the rest of the season but the future?
Yeah, one of the things in last game, we just wanted to try to do the best we could to get guys out of the game healthy. We're kind of down to 2 quarterbacks right now with Tay and Davi, and it'll be that way this week as well.
Coach, back on the topic of injuries there, any status updates on the likes of Chris Dominican or Cardinal?
Probably Carter will not be available. Chris Domercant, we'll see. He got hit pretty good, and he's in a protocol and getting checked by doctors. I think he's got a chance, but we're certainly going to err on the side of caution with things like that.
Scott, you mentioned just a little bit ago that you're down to 2 quarterbacks. Do you have an emergency option in case something were to happen?
Yeah, I'm only 50, so KZ, if we don't ask him to run with his knee, I'm really excited to get him in there. No, we've talked about that, and we're going to talk about it more and make sure we get somebody appropriate reps to go in and be able to function if need be.
Would that option include maybe someone who maybe isn't a quarterback on the roster right now, but maybe previously played it as well?
I think so. That could be an option. Obviously, we have 3 quarterbacks left, and that's the first option. But you never know what can happen, and we'll probably need somebody else who can at least take a snap and hand it off.
When you were talking about senior day, you kind of alluded to the fact that guys are going to walk with maybe they still have a chance to play more college football with eligibility, and maybe were you talking about medical red shirts? Maybe like a Cam Fancher who's been injured most of this year. Is there a chance he could come back and get a medical red shirt?
Yeah, there's a chance with some of them, and sometimes those decisions are hard because those are waivers, and you don't know how the waiver is going to turn out. What I will say is, like any job you have anywhere, if you just decide not to show up at the job and do your job, you're probably not going to have that job very long. You're definitely not going to get paid for it. With a lot of our kids, they're great kids. If they want to make a decision to try to salvage a year, those are discussions that we have to have internally. And, they have a better chance of us helping them with that if they're doing everything the right way and they're a positive part of the program. So those are all kind of one-offs, but we're going to do what's right for the program first, and hopefully that aligns with what's best for each individual because we care about the kids too.
If you looked at tape and stats Saturday, you completed most of his passes, most were short. What's your comfort with your deep passing game right now?
Well, in that game, there wasn't as much comfort as I would like to have. We took a couple shots in that game. We haven't hit on enough yet. They had a pretty good pass rush, so trying to stand back in the pocket and wait for those things to develop downfield, unless we are in heavy protections, probably wasn't going to be good. And we just didn't have that many possessions either in that game. A couple 3-and-outs to start the game, and I think we had 1 drive in the 4th quarter. So, that limits your opportunities to call plays, and I've said this all along. This team, when we've gotten things rolling on offense and earned a couple first down or 2, and are able to shoot our shots with some of our plays, things have gone really well. We got to keep getting that first down so we can get more things called.
Obviously not asking to expose the game plan, but when we've seen Bobby Belfort, it's been mostly for quarterback runs, or even if he's dropped back, he's kind of taken off and scrambled with it. Would you hope to see him get more comfortable in the passing, or are you fine with where he is right now, taking the ball and running?
Well, I never want somebody to be what they're not. Steve Young as a rookie took off and ran more than he did in his 8th year, and he's a Hall of Famer. I've seen a lot of guys that are good athletes that make up their mind, I have to throw as good as the next guy, and they don't use the talent they have. Obviously, Davi will continue to improve in everything he does as he gets more reps, and I said this, but it hasn't been completely fair to him to put him in the situation he's in without having gotten a lot of reps over the course of this year. So we're trying to make up a little ground on that now, but Davi's capable of running our whole offense.
You talked a little bit, mentioned Paul earlier, but a guy who's been around here, I think just 9 years. He's been around this program for so long. What does he mean to you guys, especially going into coming back here for your return here for your coaching?
He was a great anchor for us. He's like an ambassador to UCF, being a foreign student and being around here as long as he can. And I know the passion he has for UCF. He's loved his time here, like most of the guys have, and we'll be sad to see him go.